Hello, Terry here, and we are back with Secrets Untold. It's been quite a while actually since I've continued to play this game. That's because I was kind of busy recording other games that I have put on my list already. And yeah, completing other games that I haven't completed yet. Either way, now I am free, I can continue playing this game. And I've been so excited to play it because it seems very interesting, you know? So, enough talk. Let's continue our nightly talk between Balder and Serelia. I forgot your name, sorry. Everything will be fine, don't worry. You're safe with me. I swallowed hard. Those words that had never failed to comfort me had now made me feel uneasy. Could Balder protect me this time? Oh yeah, I kinda wonder. Balder stood up and offered me his hand.
Let's get you to bed.
Oh, okay, let's go to the bed. I took his hand and allowed him to guide me towards the castle entrance. Sleeping would do us both good. Perhaps Balder would forget about our conversation and things could get back to normal. It probably wouldn't, though. But we'll see. Oh my, this is such a nice room. All of the backgrounds are very nice. Despite already having arrived in my room, Balder and I remained quiet enough, stealing glances at each other as we stood hand in hand. In another life, perhaps. In another life, eh? No, I had to stop thinking like that. I squeezed Balder's hand tightly, hoping for some comfort from my negative thoughts.
What's bothering you?
What's... What's bothering her? Didn't she already told you? There was conflict dancing in Balder's eye, as if it had found a permanent home. Was he to be the perfect boyfriend, the perfect son, or the perfect ruler? I couldn't decide that for him, but I could let him know which of the three I needed him to be. I haven't mentioned it in the previous episode, but reading this conflict, what do you call it? Situation? Yeah, perhaps. Kinda reminds me of my own experience, yeah. You know, this kind of experience where your love seems impossible, right? And whether to be the perfect boyfriend or the perfect son or the perfect person. I must say, Balder, Confliction, and Serelia, I forgot your name still. Conflict is very relatable. So yeah, let's continue. That was just a small talk, I say. There was conflict dancing in Baldur's eye. Wait, have I read this? I couldn't decide that for him, but I could let him know which of the three. Yeah, I think I have already read this. I kinda forget, sorry.
I don't want you to leave me alone.
Oh, Callista. Yeah, you don't want him to leave you alone.
You know how my father is. Let's not give him another reason to be on guard.
Really?
But
It'll all be over soon, darling.
It'll all be over soon, eh? Or so he had said. What was to become of us in the present? We couldn't keep thinking of a lofty future that may have not ever come.
what happens next?
A silence befell the two of us. It drowned the sounds of the candle flame flapping in the wind, the floorboards creaking as I shifted my weight, and our elaborate breathing. I already knew his answer. I wasn't asking for the perfect boyfriend or the perfect best friend. I was just asking for him. I wanted Balder. He grabbed my hand and brought it to his lips.
You know that I love you, correct?
She knows. She really knows. A profound sadness washed over me as a confusion and apprehension played on my heart. I didn't doubt that Balder loved me. I doubted that he fight for me when the time came to make a choice.
I can't just accept that.
Yep,
We
You
can
can.
discuss that in the morning. Right now, you need to lie down.
Yep, right now you need to lie down. Balder, oh Balder. Sooner or later, this will come to you. There was no use arguing with Balder when he was like this. Besides, there was not much else I could say to him to get him to face my feeling in this moment.
Sure.
Sure, okay then. I leaned up and kissed his cheek, hoping I could contain my tears for just a little longer.
Good night, darling.
Good night. Why did the distance between us feel so insurmountable? I blew out the candlelight as he walked out into the great hall. When I no longer heard his footsteps, I crawled into bed. I hugged my arms around myself. Sleep seemed to be far off. No matter how many times I tossed and turned, I couldn't fall asleep. Fear engulfed my sense. Would Balder's inauguration ceremony put the nail in the coffin of our love for good? I clutched my necklace in my hands tightly. I will let the thoughts of a better life fill my mind as I drifted off to sleep. And alright, that wasn't what I expect. It will suddenly appear when we just say the thought of a better life. The room began to dissipate around me, the image of sizzling as if it was on fire. A bright rainbow light filled its place as the flames grew bigger and bigger.
The flames lap at your feet, and you choose to remain in the blaze. How curious.
How curious indeed, who are you? I tried to open my mouth to speak, but I found myself gone within this vision. I felt like I was floating in the air with nothing tying me down.
Fear not, child.
Okay,
It will all be as it should soon enough.
alright.
You shall be free of your shackles.
I need my mom. Where's my mom? What shackles? The voice was one I hadn't ever heard before. The cryptic yet oddly soothing tones sent a shiver down my spine. But just as quickly as the encounter began, it disappeared, leaving me stunned and in a cold sweat. A dream? I placed a hand on my heart instinctively, letting out a tiny shriek as my hand sizzled from grazing the amulet. What the heck, indeed. When I reached up and touched my necklace again, nothing happened. No spark, no tingle, nothing. There was so much weighing heavily on my mind that I must have been imagining things. There was no other logical explanation to what had just occurred. Oh, come on. Why are you seeking a logical explanation when your hair is naturally green? I'm just saying. I plumped my pillows and turned over. Sleeping would make the delirious fit go away, I was sure of it. Everyone knew that overworking yourself was the easiest way to get sick. Yes, I was just sick. I shut my eyes tightly and let sleep wash over me. Alright, we are going to sleep. Or I tried to, at least. I still couldn't sleep. Thoughts of the flame wouldn't leave my mind. I imagined them eating at my feet, crawling up my legs, and engulfing my torso until I was no longer myself. What did it all mean? Oh, what was that? It sounded like glass shattering. Who could be up at this time of night? With curiosity getting the better of me, I stood up on a shaky legs. Oh. Nope. Why this feels like a horror movie? Let's get the freak to sleep. I pushed the door open slowly and peered out into the hallway. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary, but there was an eerie silence that permeated through the hall. Something just didn't feel right. Yeah, I can see that. I wouldn't be surprised if there's suddenly a jump scare. I tiptoed towards the end of the hall where I thought I had heard the sound coming from. Slowly I inched forward step by step, until finally the silence had vanished. In its place was an unmistakable low growl, followed by a voice that stopped my blood cold.
Where is the girl?
Are you talking to me or are you talking about other girls? The gruff voice belonged to someone I had never heard before. His aggressive tone made my heartbeat speed up. I placed a hand over my mouth to silence my breathing. I wanted to walk backwards to my room and hide, but I was too scared. My feet wouldn't take me where I needed to go. Oh.
Please.
Ah, that's Loretta.
I won't hurt you if you just tell me what
Uh-huh.
I want to know. Where is the girl with the amulet?
Okay, it seems this guy isn't that dangerous because he's trying to be a little bit secretive from his sound. I was the girl with the amulet. I held it tightly against my chest, squeezing the pendant until my knuckles turned white. Loretta had raised me when I didn't have a mother of my own. She taught me how to sew, how to read, and how to speak. I was supposed to just forget that and leave her in the hands of a dangerous individual. No, I couldn't do that. I ran forward, forgetting where I was and what was happening. The only thing on my mind was saving the woman I loved so dearly. Hello? The darkness stretched down the castle voyeur. Not even the rainbow-stained glass could lighten the room. I squinted my eyes to try to adjust to the darkness, but all I could make out were two shadows. Loretta and her assailant.
Wait.
Wait, indeed. I hadn't thought too far ahead. All I knew was that I needed to do something. You could scream and wake up the whole castle.
Callista!
Yeah,
How sweet. Now,
I think...
we can do this the easy way
Yep.
or the hard way. Hand over the amulet, and nobody gets hurt.
I think this situation could be avoided if you just take off the amulet and hide it in your pocket and then you approach them. So he doesn't realize that it is you, but I don't know. He probably already knows that you're the person with the green hair. What meant more to me? The amulet that may have linked me to a life outside of this castle, or the woman standing in front of me who had given so much of herself for me? The answer was obvious. I gave up a life outside of the castle to protect what was important inside. I began to undo the necklace.
Good girl. Thank you for...
What happened? It was hard to make out what was happening in the shadow. It looked like Loretta had rushed forward and attacked the man.
You stupid old bitch! What did I say?
Oh, language. Oh no. The movement was so quick that I had almost missed it. Shadow clashed with each other until finally only one stood upright. The menacing shadow didn't have to say it. I felt the finishing blow in my heart as Loretta's corpse had hit the ground. Well, now there's no need to give the amulet, right? Time to run and tell the guards there's a suspicious person here. Tears welled in my eyes, blurring my vision completely. This man, no, this monster, killed the woman I considered a mother. Over what? A stupid amulet? He would never get it. Not now that he had killed Loretta. Even if he tried to kill me too, I'd do everything I could so that he wouldn't be able to have the necklace. I didn't know why it was so important that an innocent woman needed to die, but I clenched my fist and readied an attack. I know I probably couldn't overpower this man and that there was a certain chance of death. But nothing would stop me from letting my anger out.
Maddox, get her out of here now! I'm gonna finish this guy!
Aha, see? Maddox.
That's what I'm here for.
Oh, hello Maddox. Of course, that's what you're here for. A hand wrapped around my arm.
What the?
Yep, what the? It was an iron-tight grip that I couldn't escape from no matter how much I tried to squirm. The woman wrangled my arm, pulling me down the hall with her at a speed even I was having a hard time keeping up with. Sorry. Alright, we are going to the hall. A heaviness fell on my chest as I struggled to catch my breath. We had long since stopped running, but my adrenaline wasn't pumping anymore. I was just tired, scared, confused, and heartbroken. The woman raised my arm and smiled down at me like I was a longtime friend of hers.
Who the hell are you?
Who? Yeah, who are you? Maddox. I took a few steps away from her. Sure, she had just saved me from imminent death, but how did I know that she wasn't after the amulet I was wearing? Saving me and getting me to trust her seemed like a pretty good idea to get what she had wanted. I'm pretty sure she could just stab you and get the amulet, but okay.
Your ladyship?
Uh-huh.
My name is Maddox.
Ah, your ladyship, eh? Maddox. Maddox bowed down to me as if I was royalty. A strange feeling of repulsion washed over me. I didn't like the stupid societal traditions and etiquette that involve a person of a certain class. Bowing, kneeling, and courtesying were all motion meant to show respect to a single person while demeaning everyone else below them.
What exactly is going on?
Huh, yeah, I kinda wonder.
Callista!
Oh, Balder.
Balder?
He was safe, oh, thank goodness. Like magnets, the two of us ran to each other and embraced.
I'm very sorry about all of this. You should not have to endure any of it.
So you did know what happened? He spoke into my hair, his left arm holding tightly onto my shoulder. I burrowed my head into his white overcoat.
You can't take the blame for it. It's not your fault.
Uh-huh. Balder didn't say anything back, he simply held me in his arms. Oh,
It's time to let her go, Your Majesty. She'll be safe with us.
okay. Kiran. Ah, you're Kiran. Standing at the entryway of the room was the man who had saved me earlier. I recognized his raspy voice anywhere. Balder's arm fell to his side. That same look of pain he had been wearing all day was in his eyes once more.
Callista, you're no longer under my protection.
What the frick, man?
What the heck are you saying?
What the heck are you saying?
He's saying that he hired the Shadows to transport you to Terra Captivatus.
Terra Captivatus. That was captured land. That's where people were exiled to. Was that it? Was I being exiled from this kingdom because Balder had made up his mind about us? The pain in his eyes was still there, but it was decorated by his unshed tears. He lifted my chin so that I was looking directly at him. He reached into his pocket and handed me a folded up piece of paper. My hand shook as I flipped it open. What was this? Some kind of contract admonishing me from my place in the kingdom? What is
My
happening?
dearest Callista,
Ah,
if you're reading this letter, you are finally ready. I am going to hide this letter in Balder's inauguration safe box to be opened when he turns 18 years old.
okay.
It will have instructions alongside it that will tell my son to keep the letter to himself until he feels you show the strength needed for the journey ahead of you. I do
Alright,
not wish for this information to change the beautiful girl that you are.
but why?
Please, forgive me for not being able to tell you this information in person. One of these days,
Yeah.
someone is going to come looking for that amulet. of
Someone
yours.
already did.
You cannot let them take it from you.
Okay, thankfully I didn't. But
It
why?
may seem like only a decoration for your neck, but it means so much more than that. There is a power it contains that only you can unlock.
Oh, only. Wait, then that thug that back then was pretty stupid because he needs Callista, not the amulet only.
Once that happens, people will want to use you for their own personal gain. If I am not here to protect you,
Okay,
please rely on someone else.
everything's
if your power
over.
falls into the wrong hands, everything is over.
How powerful is that amulet?
I do not wish to scare you, but you must be brave. Stand up for yourself and do what you feel is right. Save us.
Oh. Wait, why can you protect her, Balder? I mean, your prince. You have a lot of soldiers? Miss Parsi had written me a letter after all this time. Why had she wasted her precious time on this planet writing me a letter? Tears fell from my eyes. I hadn't known Miss Parsi for long, and I was ashamed to admit that my memory of her was hazy. She had died of an incurable disease when Balder and I were just 5 years old. All. Incurable disease. By the way her husband treated me, I would have never known that Miss Parisi had cared a lot about me. The castle walls began to feel like they were closing in on me. Hatred seeped into my bones as I thought of all this year when I curled up into bed and felt like no one had wanted to see me exceed beyond Vestis. I had cried on so many nights thinking that no one had believed I could do more than be a servant girl. Waves of emptiness began to hit me over and over. It dawned on me in this very moment that I was losing everything. I was losing things I didn't even know I had. I didn't want to lose any more. I couldn't do it. I held the letter out to Balder.
I'm staying here.
Yeah, I mean, why? Why can you protect me? He pushed my arm back down to my side.
I respect your decision, but I can't allow you to do that.
Why?
Someone had already come looking for you tonight. If we weren't here, you would have died.
Right.
The prince is doing the right thing. We can
Wait.
protect you.
The prince is doing the right thing. Wait, then why don't we just have you two guarding her all the time?
It'll all
Here.
be over soon, darling.
All be over soon. When Balder said that everything would be alright earlier, this was what he meant. He was sending me away to Terra Captivatis. Not because he hated me. No, it was because he cared about me. He really thought he was protecting me. He was doing what he felt was right, even if it really might not have been the best thing for the future of our relationship.
I love you.
Oh, I really truly did. I would always love Balder, but it had become clear where his mind was at. He hadn't returned my sentiment in the same way. We hugged once more, my tears soaking up his favorite jacket and his own tears finally spilling from his eyes. When we pulled away from each other, I leaned up and wiped his damp cheek with the back of my hand.
We don't have much time.
Yep,
We need to leave before the whole castle wakes up.
okay. Well, I still don't understand why are we leaving though. I didn't really know much about how the amulet worked or what made it so special. I didn't even know if I really believed it to be as powerful as Miss Parisi had written about. What I did know was this was undoubtedly the end for Balder and I. Though I love him with all my heart, love didn't make everything okay. Balder had chosen this path to protect me, and I adored his heart of gold for that. I wasn't living with this man because Balder had given me no choice. I was living because I did have a choice and I was ready for the journey ahead, whatever it would entail. Even with Balder's best intentions, it was very obvious that he couldn't face the journey with me. I love him too much to make him feel bad for that. He had chosen his kingdom and I would take this opportunity to find my freedom. I nodded towards the mystery man.
Well, let's go.
Let's go then. Okay, so off we go to our journey. With the moonlight shining on the castle, the enormous stone building looked like a picture out of a storybook. Indeed it is. I touched the amulet. I still didn't really believe any of that nonsense about it containing an immense amount of power. I mean, I had this amulet for as long as I could remember and it never did anything out of the ordinary. Except for this night, apparently. It only ever looked pretty and helped me daydream about who was waiting for me out there beyond Vestis. I couldn't help but wonder if Balder told these two strangers clad in black about the letter he had given me. If so, how did I know that they didn't want the amulet's so-called powers? It occurred to me that I had waltzed out of the castle with two people I had known nothing about. They wanted to take me to Terra Captivatis, a land that seemed to be a dumping ground for all Aurea's criminals. I couldn't go there with them. I also couldn't go back into that same castle to face the man who had thrown me out into the cold night. My heart ached as I pictured Baldur's tortured face. He was always conflicted for as long as I had known him. He could never balance his duties as the perfect royal son, stern and stoic on the outside, and the gentle, nurturing man he had wanted to be for me. It was unfair that his father and the people he was going to inherit to depend on him as their leader continuously laid the foundation for unreasonably high standards and expectation. Of course, if he hadn't made his choice, he would doom to fail. No ruler could truly put matters of the kingdom and matters of the heart on equal footing. He was either to be a perfectly pretentious prince like his father and people demand, or the idealistic and passionate man he had shown only to me in the garden. The sad fact of the world we live in was that no matter how hard one tried to please everyone, they simply could not. At least, not without losing themselves. Baldur had cast me out to protect me. He had thought he was sending me out on some grandiose mission because his late mother told him to in a beautifully written letter. It was idyllic, but not practical. Hey, I mean, you can actually make everyone happy. There's a secret on doing that, though. That letter was penned years ago. Miss Parisi had been dead for over a decade. Nearly 2. I had no true recollection of her character and intentions. Baldur couldn't truly know either. He was holding on to her memory. I wanted to believe that Baldur loved me. I was creative with the ways I had gone about doing my chores. I was boisterous when things didn't go my way. I had a funny way of making light of terrible situations. These were all things he had told me countless times. Now that I was freed from the castle to do as I pleased, one thought lingered with me. I wasn't strong enough to write Baldur out of my life completely. This wasn't a goodbye for me. It couldn't be. I had loved him too dearly to simply let go of his whimsical smile, the genuine happiness that danced behind his eyes as he held me in his arms, and the way he radiated when he was doing something he had cared deeply about. Though I know deep down inside of my heart that when I return to face him again, perhaps years in the future, or merely days, things will be different. Perhaps he realized that the life of a doting son didn't match his personality as well as he wanted it to. Perhaps he finally realized that he needed me as much as I had wanted him to. All I really truly understood was that I loved a man who couldn't be the moon to my stars. Hello, the man whose name I really wasn't sure about at all stopped walking for a moment. He looked over to his friend or whatever she was to him and let out a tired sigh that rattled me from my intense thoughts. Okay, so it has been around 30 minutes. And oh my, suddenly everything getting more interesting here. I mean, some kind of powerful amulet, and then 2 ninjas? Yeah, ninja. I guess they are ninjas, and then some sort of criminal organization pursuing Callista, yeah. And the amulet, of course. So I guess that's all for Secrets Untold episode 2. See you later then in the next episode of Secrets Untold. Bye bye.